instead of just simply saying the move, part of the Trump's administration effort to downsize the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, they put in the word defang.
Defang.
So they have been downsized and defanged. Of course, defanged, totally unnecessary to the story.
We are the Arms Attorneys. Today we are talking about good news, the ATF slashing their workforce, and the New York Times' hilarious reaction to it. But before we get started, show your support for the Second Amendment by hitting the like button. And we are still on Edwin Walker videos here.
It's still Edwin time.
It is Edwin. Richard is gallivanting across the world. Good for him.
Yes. While we're here holding it down.
Yes, we are.
Be sure to recognize that in your comments.
But this article was actually brought to my attention by Edwin, and boy, if it is not hilarious.
It is hilarious. And it's just an example of how the news media really is biased. I mean, you know, talk about, there is no objectivity anymore because this comes from the New York Times, which used to be the standard. What do they call it? The old gray lady? Isn't that the nickname for the New York Times? So what used to be a prestigious news source, of course, we've all known for decades, has gone down this avenue of political bias. And this article is a hilarious example of such. So why don't you tell us what the article's about?
Well, it is a cry fest for the ATF's budget woes and the fact they're slashing their staff. And yes, really, we should, there is no objective news anymore. So let's just come out with it. We don't pretend to be objective.
No.
We are pro-gun. We are anti-ninny. So
that's right. And that's the thing about this is not even from the editorial section.
No, it's not. It's a real news piece by a real journalist, they say. But it is just phenomenally, hilariously biased. So what has happened? We'll tell you the news first. What has happened is that the ATF has announced they are cutting 60% of their staff when it comes to those individuals whose only job it is to run around and harass FFL dealers. They're inspectors. 60% gone.
Yeah. 541 out of 800 inspectors. So they have 800 inspectors to start with, and they're getting rid of 541.
Which, now that they've been directed not to with everyone over everything.
Can you say that?
Samir bleeps me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not
know. Don't worry.
All right. I didn't know that we were given free reign.
You're allowed to. You have a bleep button too.
I do.
Use it wisely.
Okay.
But yes.
Sure.
So, yes. Now, that shows how much of their time and effort, number one, I think, they can realistically say was devoted to just not real violations, just sitting there and hyper scrutinizing literally any scrivener's error.
Yes. For example, which, if anybody has filled out the 4473, which we all know you have at some point, these poor FFLs, they're so hyper scrutinized that simply putting the word road instead of RD period will get them in trouble.
That'll get you.
Come on.
That would have got you.
Well, hopefully it won't anymore.
Yeah. So, of course, this our brand new, warm and fuzzy ATF has promised not to do those things anymore. And here they are following through on it by cutting 60% of their workforce, which in true government fashion, they believe will cut 40% of their capacity.
So how does that work?
Explain that to me.
Exactly. Looks like Doge, kind of has highlighted this. Lose 60% of your workforce, yet it only diminishes your work capacity by 40%.
Sure enough. So now that's the news, right? Great news. The ATF has been ordered to cut a third of its $1.6 billion budget.
Billion with a B.
So this is part of their effort to do that. Great, super. Hate to see anybody lose their jobs, but there's other ways to go mess with people. Go work for the DPS.
Sure. Or go work for the DEA, which is where the ATF will eventually be merged into.
God,
and so we'll have a bureau of alcohol, tobacco, firearms, explosives, and drugs.
Yeah, the cool police.
Drugs,
Fun
definitely.
police. So here we are. We have now a hilarious, just sobbing for the ATF
This man
article.
is very upset.
Oh my gosh. And it's not just cutting the ATF's budget that upsets him. He's worried about everything, poor guy.
Well, yes. So one of my first takeaways, which the first sentence of the second paragraph, instead of just simply saying the move, part of the Trump's administration effort to downsize the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, they put in the word defang.
Defang.
So they have been downsized and defanged. Of course, defanged, totally unnecessary to the story, because these remaining officers, which would be what, 259 officers that are left, still have all their fangs.
They've still got all their fangs.
All the fangs.
Plus, this guy has he's got like 6 signs in his 1,000 square foot New York efficiency that
he's paying $5,000 a month for.
He's paying $5,000 a month for, that say defang ICE. You know he does.
Oh yeah,
So,
absolutely.
anyway, neither here nor there. But yes, hilarious. Talks about the administration's rollback on deadly homemade firearms and how they're not concerned about those anymore.
Yes, deadly homemade firearms.
Deadly.
That would be akin to describing a shovel as a hole digging shovel.
Oh, hole digging shovels are the worst kinds of
They
shovels.
are the worst kinds of shovels.
So, but anyway, I think that it is worth reading to you, because in addition to only quoting an official from Everytown for gun safety, not no one called GOA.
No.
No one called anyone on the pro-gun side. Just simply the anti-gun lobby.
This guy immediately picked up the phone and called Everytown and said, I need a quote for this story immediately.
Yeah, help me cry with me. So I just think it's worth reading exactly how the media has couched not just this move, but all of the things that have happened recently that we've gleefully reported on. So Attorney General Pam Bondi has already rolled back a range of Biden-era gun control measures, including a crackdown on federally licensed gun dealers who falsify business records and skip customer background checks. Pause. Is that what they were doing, Edwin Walker?
That is not what they were doing. We personally know many, many, many gun dealers, and these people are the most upstanding, rule-following people we know.
Yes.
Because their livelihood depends on it.
Their livelihood depends on it, so wild. She also directed the ATF to review 2 other major policies enacted under the Biden administration with an eye towards scrapping both. One is a ban on so-called pistol braces, which are used to convert handguns into rifle-like weapons. Okay, sure enough. I guess I can't complain about that.
Yeah, and it's weird because the argument against short-barreled rifles is that they're concealable.
Yeah.
And so you're taking a known concealable firearm, turning it into a less concealable firearm.
And they're upset.
And they're mad about it.
They're mad about everything. And the second is a rule requiring background checks on private gun sales. We discussed at length how cumbersome that rule would have been and how it would have subjected all of us, right? We were going cash only, no papers on everything, because it would have subjected virtually any of us to the accusation that we could be an unlawful dealer. So yes, we've rolled that back, and that's a very good thing. The Bureau responsible for enforcing gun laws and regulating firearms dealers enjoyed a brief revival during the Biden administration. It led a 4-year push to expand background checks on buyers, crack down on untraceable homemade weapons known as ghost guns, and curtail the use of devices that convert standard weapons into machine guns. Can someone get this guy like some kind of realistic resource before he writes an article for the New York Times?
Oh, yes. And of course, the favorite part, it has its own paragraph. Those days are long gone.
To which we're all like, woohoo, leave us alone. But just anyway, it really does. I mean, good news, small news for those of us in the gun world that they're cutting the ATF agents. Really, really big news for those FFL dealers. But hilarious news is just that the New York Times cannot manage to not wet their pants about it.
They have flipped their
They have flipped their All right. Well,
was that a proper use of my bleep button?
Yes, Samir has bleeped us both.
All right.
Guarantee. All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed this discussion. If you did, please consider subscribing, hitting the like button, and help us fight the anti-2A algorithm by sharing this video. And as always, please question and comment for us below. Until next time, we're the Armed Attorneys.